What is shaking, everybody? You know how we like to do it on Fridays. We like to do a little handicapping, and one of my favorites joins the show. No longer of the favorites. He is Sharper Square. No longer of, I can't even remember the name of the group. It's the Volume Sports Podcasting Network. I was the Action Network is what it used to be. I don't know. I wasn't doing it to be funny. I just forgot there for a second. But now you got a new venture going now. I'm happy for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, we did it fast. I decided to leave Action just before the beginning of the season because this deal with Volume came together quickly. But I love Colin. I've been working with Colin Cowherd, who started the Volume and runs the Volume forever. And when the opportunity came up to move the show, me and Simon, my co-host, to move it from Action, which, look, I loved Action. I founded Action, sold Action, stayed at Action. But the opportunity to go work with Colin and those guys at the Volume was too good, so we moved it over.
Then how you been? I got to do this because I started off asking a question. I didn't even start off by asking how you are, and that's always one of my biggest pet peeves with Colin. Whenever I'm on with Colin just starts right off with a question.
Yes.
I'm like, hey, how about some dinner first? All right, let's work up to this. I mean, you can't take me right to the hotel room. All right, like a little wine, like, how you doing? Good to see you.
Colin's got no time for dinner. Colin is all about content. He doesn't care how you are unless you're delivering content.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you, how are you? Yeah. You look great.
I got a great life, brother. It couldn't be any better. I'm sitting at home. I'm recording shows. I get to do stuff with you. I'm in the middle of writing a book all about this world of sports betting that I got to turn in a few months. It's a crazy ride. I don't know if you're paying attention to what's happening with prediction markets, what's happening with the betting landscape generally, but this industry continues to be a little bit of insanity.
Yeah, it's harder and harder each and every year. And I never got into this thing to make a bunch of money anyway. I just got into to have fun and not lose money. If I make a little, that's totally fine by me. But I'm not you're not. I tell people you're not making money in this business, like a significant amount, unless you want to pour tons of time and effort into it. And then you got to figure out how to get down. And then you got to figure out how to get down when they cancel you or lower. You're like, you're going to win a whole bunch of money and you're going to turn on to bet a game and you're going to log in. They're going to go max bet $142.30. Like, you'd be like, well, what? That's not feeding the family. So it's a lot more. It's just insane now, more so than it used to be, because we've been in this a long time and know kind of the evolution of what it was. And it makes me think, Chad, what was it like in the 60s and 70s? Like, what was it like? Like, how cool would it have been back then? Can you imagine the information you have on your fingertips today? Like, if you could have used that in the 70s, God, you'd be running for president. You'd have billions of dollars. You kidding me?
Well, look, you make a really good point about getting rich versus just having a good time. And I think one of the huge changes with legalization that has happened nationwide, when we started Action Network in 2000, we launched in 2018, before sports betting was legal anywhere. And our premise for the business was people were going to want to bet like us. They were going to want to get the best information. They were going to get that. They were going to want that 1 or 2% edge. They were going to want to bet on sides and totals, and that they'd be interested in grinding out year over year profitability. They might not get rich, but they just don't want to lose money anymore. They were going to want to make the best bet possible, no matter what the team. And very quickly, because FanDuel introduced the idea of same game parlays, and then every operator followed after that, it became all about making the worst possible bet on your favorite team. And people wanted to win the lottery. They wanted to bet $10 to win $1,000. And even if you did that and you lost, if you came close to winning a 15-leg parlay, but you lost the last leg, you put that out on social media, it gets virality. That's as much fun and engagement as if you had won the bet yourself. So for old school bettors like you and me who are like, hey, what do we think of Kansas City -4.5 this week, or Buffalo -1 this week, or Green Bay -2, whatever? People don't care about that. They want to know how to put together that parlay and get rich.
They want to know how they should do. How should I?
Nobody wants to do the work anymore, Tom.
How should I stagger my micro bets? I'm like, oh fuck, okay, I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
tired. We micro bets. I go
right.
here. I tell you what. Why don't I just take a club, hit you over the fucking head, and you give me your money? We'll call it even. You'll have a lot more
Seriously.
that way, and it'll be a better story.
Yeah.
But I can bet $1 here, $1 there, $1 here. I'm like, all right, you go ahead. You tell me how it works out for you. Okay,
And
let's
then I
get to
can
some
win.
games.
Then
Yeah,
I can win $10,000.
exactly. Exactly. All right, let's get to a couple games. Your Chicago Bears taking on the Cleveland Browns this week. Interesting game. It was 7. Now it's 7.5. This is one that's interesting because I think maybe a few years back I would have like looked at Cleveland and said, "Look, I got a really good defense. I know they're better at home than on the road, but I got a really good defense, getting a bunch of points, and I'm catching Chicago in a really tough spot here. They're Packers sandwich, so to speak." And it worried me a little bit that Ben Johnson, I heard him address it like anytime you have to address it with the team, you're acknowledging that it could be an issue.
Yeah.
It probably already is an issue at that point. So that worries me a little bit, but I think Chicago's got to look at this and say, look, we're in a precarious position here. We got this, and then Green Bay. I mean, we could be out of the playoffs in a heartbeat. Like, we got to win the games that we got to win. Problem is they could win, but not win by 7.5. But I got Shedeur Sanders on the road. He's actually going to have to play a real team. I know the Bears aren't a great defense, but they look pretty good against the Packers last week. Caleb Williams scares me a little bit. Sometimes he looks great. I'm like, wow, this guy's really God. No, he doesn't. Not yet. But the running game is stout. Problem is, Brown's running defense is stout. So I don't know. I wanted to ask you about the Bears and Caleb Williams, but I'm leaning toward the Bears. I don't know that I'm there yet. There may be too many forces that are just kind of like button heads that I'm not able to get around. How do you see it?
Dude, you're so overthinking this. We got a sandwich game. We got a really good defense that's getting the hook as a 7-point underdog. It's going to be miserably cold weather. Both teams are going to want to run the ball. This is not a Shedeur Sanders game. This is a Browns defense game. And can the Browns defense limit what the Bears can do on the ground? That's really it. I don't think the Bears defense can do anything to limit the Browns on the ground. They're just not very good. So if I'm betting anything in this game, I'm betting the Browns. The reason why I'm not going to bet this game is the Browns are missing 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen. And I'm not really interested in betting on teams that are already bad, who are now playing the players who weren't even good enough to start on a bad team. So it's going to end up being a pass for me. But if I were playing anything, I'd be playing the Browns.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not all that. I don't get as intrigued by sandwich games in the NFL as I do college. I think when you're younger, you're more susceptible to the mood swings, kind of the highs and lows of it. I think it does happen in professional sports to a certain extent, but not as much as it does. Like college, I think it's perfect because, when you're on campus, everybody's telling you how great you are, and you're reading the paper. It's like, oh, maybe I am that good. The pros kind of understand that, but I agree with you. That's probably one that I might look at and say, I'm going to stay away from. But I kind of want to take your Bears. I'll call you afterwards and go
take them.
I might take them.
It's just money. What are you going to do with it?
You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay, let me give you 2 that these are like super easy for me. So easy, I'm probably not going to take them. Why wouldn't I take the Bengals against the Ravens? And why wouldn't I take the Chargers against the Chiefs?
You wouldn't.
Like, why? Why wouldn't I?
Well, I'm on the Chiefs.
Okay,
the Chiefs,
why?
that number's moved from 3.5 to 4 to 4.5 to 5 to 5.5 in some places.
5.5.
So
Yep.
A lot of professional money coming in on the Chiefs. The Chiefs, for all their success, everyone's seen the stats: 17 games in a row, winning 1-score games. Everything they did last year, everything that has regressed this year and turned around for them, a complete 180 and winning the 1-score games. They've been incredibly unlucky. And you look at what the Chargers did this past week against the Eagles, they got incredibly lucky. Drop passes for the Eagles, missed field goals for the Eagles, bad penalties for the Eagles, turnovers for the Eagles. The Chargers still needed to go to overtime to win that game in perfect conditions. Now they're going on the road. in less than perfect conditions. Again, it's going to be 0. Justin Herbert is playing with a broken hand still. It hurts a lot more to play with a broken hand in 0-degree weather than it does in perfect conditions in Los Angeles. He
Wait a
was
minute.
getting.
How do you know that? You've been out there playing in 0 degrees? I don't know. I
I
remember the
grew up in
last time
Chicago.
you suited up in 0 degrees.
Guy, don't get pro athlete on me. I
Did
played.
you guy me?
I,
Did you just guy
guy,
me? I
guy,
you,
listen to me.
hold on a second. Is there somebody else in this room? You just guide me. You tried to
I
tell me that you grew up
grew
in
up
Chicago, so you know what
playing
it's
in
like.
Chicago in the freaking cold. It
Yeah,
would have
I'm
hurt to
sure
slap.
little Chad Millman's out there with a broken hand in
It
zero
would hurt.
degrees
Number
playing
one,
street
listen to
ball.
me.
Get
Listen
out
to
of
me.
here.
Talk about
Please.
playing hurt. Talk about playing
Please.
hurt. Listen to me. When I was working at ESPN the magazine, I was in a cab accident coming back from the airport after covering spring training for a story I was writing about a guy who played for the Brewers. His name was Richie Sexson.
Love Richie Sexson. Struck out a lot,
but hit some banging home runs. That's all he did. He
bombs.
was the Dave Kingman of his era at the plate.
Okay.
He was also known as being incredibly funny. And so I went out it was going to be our like April Fool's Day issue. So I went out there and I interviewed Richie Sexson. And on the way back, my cab was in an accident coming back from LaGuardia, going back into the city where I lived in Manhattan. I broke my back in the cab accident. 2 weeks later, I'm in a back brace. I'm on heavy pain medication. I could only work standing up. I still turned in the story. Millman plays hurt. You know what I'm saying? He knows
But
what it's like.
were you
He knows what it's like
outside?
to play with a broken hand in the cold
Were
weather.
you outside? Were you outside when you were typing? Or were you inside when it was like climate controlled?
Well, I kept the thermostat very low just so I could simulate
you could see your breath as you were finishing up.
I wanted to simulate game day conditions in Chicago. I also had some shaved ice and a fan, so we just kept blowing it. So it was like it was snowy.
There he is on the frozen tundra, finishing his book, broken back and all.
I think the Chargers, they couldn't defend against the Eagles' defensive line and giving up those 7 sacks. They're not going to get any better between last Monday and this Sunday. And the Chiefs pass rush, we saw how dominant they were in getting to CJ Stroud. I just think the Chiefs have the better roster right now. And I got the number of 4.5, so I got it in the middle of its upswing. Yeah. So I'm on the Chiefs.
Yeah, I just don't trust the Chiefs as favorites anymore. I tried them one time last week. I go, okay, this is their chance. And their offensive line is so beat up. Mahomes is running, and they're kind of a mess, which brings me, and I know you got to run here in a second, but which brings me to Baltimore. You keep waiting for these teams that in your mind, you know they can be better. You've seen them be better. And then you watch and be like, but they're not better. I had the Steelers last week, and I know you talk about it. You've talked about it a lot. When the Steelers play in division as dogs, just take them and move on. You don't need to think too much about it. That was a great spot because not only were they dogs on the road, which is great for them, they're playing a team that still everybody thinks are the Ravens of 2 years. They're not. The Ravens are kind of a mess. Lamar is kind of a mess. And I don't know what to make of Burrow's comments this week, but
weird, right?
Yeah, weird. I think he's just a guy that's so frustrated right now. He's beat up. It's hard coming back from rehab. I mean, you would know that coming back from the broken back. It's hard coming back from rehab.
Do you want me to show you?
You know.
I can't even
look at that.
Like, that's a basketball injury.
That is nothing. That is nothing.
I don't know what you know about.
You know what? You know what? We're gonna do the stupid thing here. I'll show you a basketball injury. That's a basketball injury right there. I'm gonna show you that finger, and then I'm gonna show you being able to take that finger and bend it all the way back
my God,
90 degrees. That's a basketball injury.
I didn't see that one coming. That's
what you get with a basketball. Okay, so we both like Cincinnati.
No good. Yeah, suffice it to say, I like the Bengals here. What's interesting is you just might want to hold off because the line was at 2. It's gotten a 2.5. I think the betting community is a little bit spooked by what Joe Burrow said this week.
Exactly.
And so the number is moving up to 3 if you want to wait.
Yeah. Okay. Before I let you go, you're Indiana Hoosiers. Are you
Dude,
kidding me? Are you just like living a dream right now that you're like, please don't ever wake me from this. This is so much fun.
I truly, I don't know how to manage the joy. Um, it feels so weird to be watching the Big Ten title game. Indiana wins, and Indiana not only wins, but they don't even play that great. They are physical, they are fast, they are athletic. They're all the things that like you look for in a
Yeah.
top tier team, and they beat Ohio State. I do think if they played Ohio State again, when they weren't coming off the Michigan game, when Brian Hartline hadn't been hired and they were sort of distracted, maybe Ohio State wins by 40. But in the moment, Indiana was the better team. They overcame mistakes. They made really good plays. They had good coaching decisions. They were great that night. And then on the podium, when they're singing the Indiana fight song, I'm like, what is happening right now? It's so weird. And then the next day for the Bears to come, Caleb throwing a ball probably 3 milliseconds too late
Yeah.
and to tying that game, but dominating in the second half. There was a TikTok that I saw of, two dudes who were pretending they were the script writers for the NFL or for football in general. And like a guy walks in and he goes, okay, we got the Bears winning in overtime. They're going to tie it at the end of the game. And the script writer and the boss turns around and goes, are you crazy? The board already approved Indiana winning the Big Ten. We can't have the Bears beating the Packers in Green Bay in overtime. There's no way we can have that happen. So that's a little bit of how I feel is euphoria. I will say, listen, you went to a basketball school, you played
Yeah.
basketball. I went to Indiana. It's a basketball school.
Yep.
It is an entirely different feeling, persona, perception, reaction when you say you go to a school that is good at football. Like
Yeah.
people look at you differently. It connects with people differently. It's the strangest phenomenon.
Yeah, I've only had that feeling a couple times. One was Desert Swarm when Dick
Yep.
Tomei was there.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Rich Rod got him in the Fiesta Bowl, and they got beat by Boise, but they were like 10-2 that year or something. It's
Yeah.
only been 2 or 3 seasons, where Arizona football has been good. But Indiana's been like the worst Power 4 program over the last
In
100 years,
history.
like statistically, yeah. And I guess Signetti pulled them up past Wake Forest recently. So
Yes.
people aren't paying, and they are, but they're still not paying enough attention to how miraculous this coaching job has been. I mean, I know we have NIL transfer, all that, but you got to get the right people. You got to pay the right people. You got to have the right coaches. And the fact that he's able to kick Ohio State's ass, like physically play them and beat them. And I disagree with you. I think if they played him again, there's no way they're losing by 40, because that's a really good football team. Like, and they could beat them again. It's just, I'm the same age as you are pretty much. I grew up with Indiana football, like being basically Antoine Randall L. and maybe the Michael Penix year where they were pretty good. They're kind of exciting, but not great. That's it. That is it. And all of a sudden you got Mr. Google Me up there just like kicking the shit out of everybody. And you're just like, hold on a second. I need to recalibrate here. This is the Indiana Hoosiers we're talking about here, right? Okay, let's move on. Are you going to go to the national championship game if they happen to make it that far?
You know what? I was just talking with a bunch of my buddies about this. We're debating it. It like work-wise, it may be tough for me. So I've got to figure out how to manage it.
You got to do it, brother. I mean, fucking, that'd
Well,
be
here's the problem.
Indiana in a national championship game. I mean,
Here's the
holy
problem.
smokes!
And like, I know. What always ends up happening is I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. And then like in the last 48 hours, you're like, what the hell's wrong with me? How am I not doing this? But for now, I'm waffling.
Yeah, just tell Colin suck it. Like, look, we were just gonna have to do this. I'm going to the national championship game, and if you're a sports fan, you'll understand.
Here's the
Will
thing,
understand. It'd be like if Washington went to a national championship game.
I haven't contemplated it really, because I'm like,
yeah, you probably shouldn't. Don't do that. Yeah, they're only the number 1 seed, Chad. Look, I mean, they there's no way they could get there. They're only the number 1 seed in the tournament.
No way.
All right, brother. It's so good catching up with you. I wish we could do it more often. I loved it that run. I think it was during COVID. We got a chance to talk about drinks and about dinners and about gambling and all that. Yeah, that was
COVID
fun.
times. Those were good days.
Those were I miss those COVID days, man. Those were some of the best days I've ever had. So have a great holiday season, and let's do it again.
Brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Chad. I appreciate it, man. Have a good one. Chad's the best. He's great. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what it's like playing in the snow. It got a little chilly for me. Then I just looked out there and I was like, don't want to go outside. I don't want to go outside today. If it was like 1, if I was doing the show at 1 like I normally do, I probably would be outside, but nah. I just said screw it. I'm gonna stay in here and just kind of chill in the room. All right, Dennis Ranahan's going to join us in about a half an hour, so we could take some comments and stuff like that. But we could also Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers he's not going to play, is he? Like, come on, I might break that dude in half. Like, I don't know what Riley Leonard has. For those of you that don't know, you're like, what are you talking about? Philip Rivers playing? Doesn't he have like 13 kids? He's like coaching. He's like coaching high school football, and he might be coaching. Him and his son as a son. Never happened, has it? His father-son played in the NFL together? I don't think so. Basketball, yes. Baseball, yes. Hockey, I'm sure it's happened. I don't think it's ever happened in football. That'd be sweet, Rivers to Rivers. But you know, I know he knows the offense. I know he played with the Colts. This guy's like 44. Been like 5 years since he played. Like, just because you were good at one point doesn't mean you still are good. What do they pay him? Like weekly salary? Like, what's his that whole thing was bizarre. Like, when I saw Philip Rivers, I was like, come on. We're being goofed, right? So, kind of like we were being goofed. I have to give Brent Jones a little bit of crap. And last show we talked about Caleb Downs opting. Caleb Downs isn't opting out. Caleb Downs is going to be playing for the Buckeyes. So that was I knew that wasn't right. We found something, and I think that was that was erroneous. Because I as soon as I got off doing the show, I looked. I go, let me look this up. It didn't sound right. Guys that are opting out of the playoffs. I mean, I know nothing should surprise me anymore, but that would surprise me. You make it all the way to the playoffs, and you're like, yeah, I'm done. See ya. Thanks for having me, everybody. And so, yeah, so I wanted to make sure I got that out there. That one we kind of boofed that one. But yeah, Philip Rivers, and then Cam Newton. Was Cam Newton like serious when he said he was offended that Philip Rivers was signed and they didn't ask him or didn't? Bro, look at your hats, okay? They're not signing someone to come there and do a podcast and be a sideshow. That's not what they want. Okay? They don't want someone there coming with their hats and their feather boas and their whatever it is they have, their entourage, their podcast, and making a spectacle out of this thing. So I'm assuming he was joking, half joking, a third joking, somewhat joking, a little, whatever. Like, he could not have been serious. There is no one that would bring Cam Newton back into the fold. Like, no one at this point. It's just not going to happen. I mentioned the distractions. Like, you better be good if you're going to be a distraction. Tim Tebow got to the point where he was a distraction, and you weren't going to sign Tim Tebow as a backup quarterback because everybody loved Tim Tebow so much, but but he's not very good. And now we got to deal with all this. When's Tebow going to play? Is Tebow going to play? Is Tebow backing up? Is Tebow do this? And the fans are always, it's never a good sign when your backup quarterback sells more jerseys than your starting quarterback or even close to it. Bad sign. Bad sign. Probably a bad sign that your starting quarterback isn't great, and then even a worse sign that everybody wants the backup to play, and the backup's not that great. It's very similar, although much different, because I didn't think Tebow was very good anyway, and it wasn't his fault that he was that popular. He just was. But it was the same with Colin Kaepernick, in that as much as everyone was on his side and that he got screwed, he should have had a spot in the NFL somewhere. He was good enough to be a quarterback in the NFL. I will argue with people that he was even a top 20 starter, top 15 starter. He was just okay. But the circus that followed him, coaches hate that stuff. If you're Brady, you can get away with that kind of stuff. If you're Breeze back in the day, you get away with that type of stuff. Name the top quarterbacks in the league. If you're Lamar Jackson, you can get away with that stuff. If you're Mahomes, Allen, guys like that. But if you're not, if you're a distraction, whether it's good cause, bad cause, indifferent cause, they just don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want to have to deal with it. And that's why this Shedeur Sanders, who's playing for the Browns against the Bears this weekend, is interesting. How good is he? Like, is he a legit 5th-round draft pick? Like, anybody could have had him. Anybody could have drafted him. And so in the first, 2nd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. So I'll be interested to see how he performs, and like, people are really fascinated by him. And so give me a Homer beer break real quick. I'm not going to get a beer, but I need to do something real quick. I will explain to you, but give me the beer break signal just for one quick second, if you could. Here it comes. We back. Sorry. If I was going to get my the tree's back. The lights are back. What happened to the snow? Do we not get snow when I'm solo? God, I like the lights. I wonder if I go smaller if I can get snow. No. For whatever reason, I'm not getting any snow. I don't know. Maybe snow doesn't work when I'm by myself. So, oh, we got it dark. Oh, we're gonna we're just doing it as the show's on. I love it. We're a loose group here, but no, I had to go make sure the gate was open in the backyard so I could can get my backyard manicured. What happens is when the bunny's out, I got to put a blanket and a weight on top of the blanket underneath the the door, the gate, I guess you want to call it, the backyard gate. And so the bunny doesn't get out, but then they can't get in. So I had to go and make sure that the weight was moved and everything. So anyway, I'm gonna make sure the backyard gets mowed, nice and clean. Nothing quite like a mown yard. Just smells good, looks good. Although I was the gardener growing up. I don't know how many of you were gardeners growing up, but when you were a kid growing up, that's what you did. It almost feels criminal now, doesn't it? I mean, that's where we're at in society. When you ask your kids or tell your kids, heaven forbid, you tell your kids to do something, it's like, what? Did you just you can't, you got to ask. Oh, fuck, my dad never asked me. Boy, get out there and mow the yard. Okay. You got out there and mowed the yard. And then you got paid for it. You know, you're $5 or whatever it is. And I mowed I did like 4 yards in the neighborhood. Mowed yards, edged, did the weeds, stuff like that. Maybe watered the plants if they're going on vacation, something like that. But you're in like 15, $20 a week. No big deal. Get $5, maybe $10 if someone was generous. Did the front yard for most of them, backyards for some, but you did. Now I don't even mow my yard. It's not even that hard. You just, I just rather not have to have a mower in the garage, but you get the mower out, boom, 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 and it takes you what, 15 minutes, maybe max, and you're done. The yards aren't that big. I mean, my yard wasn't that big back in Lakewood. I grew up in Lakewood, California, but yeah, that was just. I can go back to the old school that just had the blades, just the blade, and you push that thing, and then you had to rake the grass up after that. Although the grass did create a nice mulch. So the mulch would sit on top of the grass. You don't want to rake it all up, and then it'd go back into the ground. Mulch, dirt's good, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That's how you make money. You babysat or you did yards. I did both. I was like the neighborhood go-to. I would babysit. I would mow. Yeah, I know, Steve. Real men mow their own yard. I don't know if you might mow your own yard. That's my buddy Steve. Lives in Denver, so he ain't mowing anything for about 3 months. So it's gonna be all snowy. But yeah, my mowing days are over. But I do kind of miss it. I do kind of miss getting out there. Again, it would take me 10 minutes, 15, set up and everything. Set up back in the garage and we're good to go. But mowing the yard was a way to make money. But my yard, I didn't have a choice. My dad didn't ask me, hey, can you get out there and mow the yard? Well, I'd rather it was mow the yard. And that's the difference. A lot of, the difference between parenting then and parenting now. Why do we ask our kids stuff now? Why do we ask them to do stuff? Because we think it's nice, like it's nicer. Isn't that why you have kids, to be able to tell them, like, do this, do that? If I can stop asking me, you go do it. I never asked. I just did it. Go do this. Okay. I know the why is the everything, according to Mike Silver. Good book, by the way. If you want to see have a fun read, learn a little bit about Kyle Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur, Raheem Morris, even Robert Saleh is in the book a little bit. It's a good book. The why is everything. And it is like, you want to know sports. Why am I doing this? Why does this make sense to do? Not when you're mowing the yard. Why am I mowing the yard? And you know what the answer used to be? Like, the answer today would be, Dad, why am I mowing the yard? Well, son, if you don't mow the yard, it's going to get long, it's going to get unruly, and it's going to be unsightly in the neighborhood. Therefore, we'd like to keep our lawn, within the HOA guidelines and mow them once a week like everybody else mows them once a week. Or whatever answer you want to give. You know what the answer used to be? Dad, why am I mowing the yard? Because I fucking said so. Good. Yeah, that works for me. That definitely worked. That worked for me. Because I fucking said so. Because I said so. When did because I said so stop being good enough? Huh? When did that stop being? Now, I'm not saying it should be good enough for your, let's say, high schoolers, or maybe even juniors, seniors on up, adult kids. Of course, you can't just tell them, like, go do this. When you're like 12 years old, like, go do something. Why? Why do I need to do it? Because I told you so. That's why. That used to be good enough. That used to be plenty. In fact, with my dad, I didn't even ask why. Because it could have been followed by, because I told you so. It could have been followed by a backhand. It could have been followed by any, like, I just do it. Like, I was the Nike ad before the Nike ad started. Just do it. Okay, just do it. I didn't love it. Just do it. Because if you didn't do it, then there's a lot worse things waiting for you on the other side of the door. So, but again, now it's, why do I need to do this? Why can't I do it later? And so, dang, you got $50? That's nice money. Righteous bucks. 50 bones. Yeah, I was like 5, but that was back in like early 80s, late 70s, I guess. No, kids don't do chores anymore. No, they just get money. They just want money. Kids want money nowadays. No chores. No chores, just money. Can I have money? What'd you do? Nothing? All right, here you go. Take it. I don't know what chores my kids do. I literally don't know what chores my kids ever did. Maybe they did something. I'm not sure. Whose fault that is? Mine. That's my fault. Like, what chores did you do when you were growing up? Mine was like dishes were chores, yard work, chores, keep your room clean. That was one. That was just, your mom walks into your room and it looks like a pig pen. That's not cutting it. Maybe vacuuming occasionally, although vacuuming was cool. I liked vacuuming. It's the sound it made. And it had that little puff bag behind it, that little bag. Like a Ken, wasn't it, the hell was the name of that lawnmower we used to have? I can't remember the name of it, but I used to, it was fun running over stuff you knew you shouldn't run over, just so you could hear the sound. Like, it was a toy part, and you're like, ooh, this isn't going to be great. This is going to be great, but it's going to be fun listening to it as it tries to suck it down. And you just hope that it'd make it all the way to the bag, because every once in a while it gets stuck and be like, oh. And you'd have to, why'd you run that over? Did you see that? No. What? See what? Well, I didn't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. And of course I didn't see that massive toy part that I tried to run over with the and it's funny too now, because our whether it be a washer, a dryer, a vacuum, whatever, the technology is so good now, but the devices break down so much more. Like, that stuff back then, you could beat it up and it was still pretty good. And you could use it. Like the vacuum, you could use it. Nowadays, man, You take in just a little something and vacuum that you shouldn't take up, like a little screw or something you didn't see, and be like, and it just falls apart. It's like athletes. It's just like athletes. Athletes back in the day just played, right? Smelling salt me up, tap me on the knee. How many fingers do I have? 3. You can feel it. You feel it on your leg. Get back in there and play. And they got back in there and played. Basketball players, like how many games you play this year? I don't know, like 78. Why? Okay. Nowadays, like athletes don't play, they sit out. Everyone's got like, I'm not feeling good. Maybe I'm not in a great state of mind. Maybe I do is going to take a personal day, maybe just chill. So it is. It's just like the vacuums, like appliances and vacuums is like the same as athletes nowadays. They weren't as good. They weren't as high end as they are now, but they used to play all the time. They used to just grind through it, gut through it, and you were good to go. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Barrett. You know, they get out there, lawnmower, run over. You can run over anything with that lawnmower, and it was coming back for more. It was like, give me more, give me more, give me more, and you just you're good, and you'd get through it, and that lawnmower would get through it, and you're like, solid, we're good to go. Now, I'd like to say the lawnmowers now break down, but I haven't touched one in forever because I don't mow my own yard, which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad to say. I feel like I'm helping the economy, though. At least that's what I tell myself. I'm helping the economy. Am I? I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I just don't want to do it. And so, but yeah, it just struck me. It is very similar to the athletes nowadays. They're just so finely tuned. The technology is way better, but they get a little bit of a ding. It's like, oof. I'm out for 3 days. Ow. Ooh. Ow. Ooh. We're good. That's why this last time I used to buy out like really good dishwashers. And now me and my son just said, let's just buy a cheap dishwasher. And by cheap, I mean like $300-400. It's still, decent dishwasher, but it's not like 1,000. It's got all these little like settings and all that. I'm like, let's just buy a cheap one and see if we can get a couple years out of it. And if we do, then great. Breaks down, we throw it away and get another one for a couple $100. That's not bad. $200 a year for a dishwasher. And I was like, all right, let's do it. That one's still going. And as soon as it breaks down, I'm throwing it away. I'm going to throw it away and get another, not cheap one, but I'm not going to get an expensive one anymore. It costs as much to repair those things as it does to buy a relatively inexpensive one. It's a joke. They come out here, that's $300. $300? I bought this thing for $400. Are you high? You got to pay 75% of the cost to fix this thing when I can go get a new one? I don't think so. Hello, Costco. Boom. Go over there, grab yourself a dishwasher. You're back home. You're good to go. So, anyway, where the hell was I? I have no idea where I was when I started this thing. This is usually what happens. I just wander off, and I'm like Lieutenant Frank Drebin in The Naked Gun. And where was I? And then that's pretty much the end of it, because he has no idea how he got there, just like I have no idea how I got here. But I know where I'll be tonight. I'll be over at Chase for the T-Wolves and the Warriors. Sounds like Steph's going to be good. Sounds like Jimmy's going to be good. I'm not sure if Draymond's going to be good. Draymond may be out for the game. So they may be missing Draymond. I haven't looked at the latest Minnesota Timberwolves injury report to see what they got going on. Let's see what the injuries are. Anthony Edwards, game time decision. Well, that would definitely help the Warriors' cause if Anthony Edwards. Mike Conley's out. I'm surprised Mike Conley's still in, period. Like, Mike Conley's like ancient. I love that guy though. Man, he just knows how to play. So yeah, there you go. Draymond out, Al Horford out, Trace. I mean, if Trace doesn't play tonight, do they have a center? I guess Post is it. They're going to be playing some small ass lineups. Oh my gosh. I mean, look, the Warriors should win that game. It should be a good game anyway, but if Anthony Edwards isn't playing, then the Warriors got to figure out a way. Got to figure out a way to win that one. Let's see. It says right here, Edwards iffy for Friday. His last game was December 8th against the Suns, who are actually, the Suns are really surprising this year. They're not terrible. All right, let me ask this, because we got about 10 minutes before we're going to get to Dennis Ranahan and go over some more NFL games. Do the Oklahoma City Thunder break the Warriors record? Do they go 74-8 this year? I mean, right now, they're 24-1 or 25-1? I think 24-1. Yeah, 24-1. Bear says no. With an exclamation point. Whew. So you're 24-1. They need to go 50-7. I mean, that's just absurd saying it. 50-7 to close it out. I mean, look, you go 24-1, you do that 3 times, right? You're what, 72-3? So, I mean, yeah, I mean, they could. Do I think they will? No. Just because it's such a dumb number. Like when the Warriors did it, it was dumb. Like they just kept winning and winning and winning. But then every game you looked at the Warriors that year and go, well, they're not going to lose that. They're not going to lose that. They're not going to lose that. And maybe because the Warriors had more star power that year. And maybe this team does have that star power. It's just young star power. We know how good Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, but Jay Williams is really good. Holmgren is really good. But they're so deep. So deep. I mean, Wallace is a really, really good player. Hartenstein, really, really good player. Mitchell has been really, really good this year. Caruso, really, really good. But Wiggins is really, really good player. So I don't know. I mean, they got 66 last year. 66 last year. And they're better this year. So it just seems weird saying it. 74-8. 74-8, but 73-9 seem weird too. Like they're not gonna go 73-9, are they? Maybe. All right, we'll get back. We'll take a few comments afterward, but we got Dennis Ranahan at Quacks High Sports, pigsfootball.com. See if we can find some winners this week. Found a few last week. We'll see if we can keep it rolling on into this week. Hello, Dennis.
You've been driven indoors, huh? The weather has taken you down.
Very, very sad. I'm glad I did because the gardeners came right when I would have been doing the show too. So it ended up working out okay for me this week. So I'm gonna try to get back out there. It's just I like doing the show outside, but it's been a little chilly.
Well, Pam was watching you last week, and she said, "Isn't that a Big Lebowski sweater that Tom's wearing there?"
Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's a Big Lebowski sweater. Yeah. Well, Lou told me last week. She said, "Can we go inside?" She goes, "This outside stuff's kind of for the birds," and I just kind of feel like we should get inside just for a couple shows. And I go, "Okay, we'll get inside for a couple shows." So
I've been outside picking up Christmas lights. I dress like I'm going skiing to get out there in the cold, and then they're saying. The neighbors are saying, "Dennis, you're too old to be on the roof. Get off the roof." So I let them know that I'm still got it.
Yeah, well, all it takes is one, Dennis. All it takes is one time.
What?
Be careful up there.
Max McGee.
Yeah,
died that way, falling off a roof. Oh, I'm more than a little cautious up there. I'm not showing off. I do think it'll probably be me. I think putting up Christmas lights will probably be my demise. I'm an over decorator. I am an over
Yeah.
decorator. I need to go to the 12-step over decorator program.
Yeah.
I'm an over decorator. And I keep
Yeah.
happening. We got in competition. We had neighbors. Tony next door, he's still there. Carl moved, I think, because of this. But they would get in this competition, and I would join in on who could make the house look the best. And Tony would see Carl get in his truck and head for he knows he's going to get some more decorations. So he'd jump in his truck and follow, to out decorate each other. I always came from the standpoint of, it's not how much crap you put on your front of your house. It's the design. It's got to have a theme. It's got to be elegant, And so they would say, "Oh, I had more. I said, I was more elegant. I really win the style competition."
Well, it's like I'm a stickler for uniformity. So if I have red, white, and green lights on one side of the house, they got to be throughout the whole house. I can't break it up. I've done that one year out of desperation, and it bothered me the whole month of December. I was like, God, that strand or that bush right there should be red, white, and green, and it's all white. Right? Probably no one else paid that much attention to it, but I did. So I was like, okay. I didn't have enough red, white, and green this year, so I ordered some. And I got 90% of the lights done last weekend. I'm going to finish them up this weekend because I had to wait for the red, white, and green lights to get here. But there's a house in the neighborhood. Names will be omitted to protect the innocent. But it just looks like somebody came. It looked like the Christmas light monster came and just spit up on their house. And there's just no rhyme or reason for the lights or the patterns or the colors. It's just like lights. And I was like, that's not what I don't want lights just for the sake of lights. Like you say, they got to look good. There's got to be a little elegance to them. There's got to be a little uniformity to them. And there's got to be a theme that goes along with it. And then after that, I'm good. I'm good. But
I don't like the lights where they are lit where there shouldn't be any, between two different layers on the house or something, and they just string the string, and then you get this hanging down 5 lights. Those shouldn't be there. I don't allow that. There. My lights are always red and green around the house. Red, green.
Okay.
That's what the colors are. And they're the big ones, the big lights. Whatever they are. Yeah. And one year I had so many lights, I actually counted them. 120,000 lights. Now, a lot of them were little tiny ones, but it was ridiculous. I added it up and went, oh, that's too many. We had to hook it into the air conditioning so we wouldn't be blowing fuses. We had the spider cable that you get from a construction site, so we wouldn't blow fuses. But so many lights. It was. And so now, as I put up the lights, I look at how much is still left over. I go, "Oh, that was too much." Jesus. Yeah,
you went full Clark Griswold.
Oh, it was a full Clark Griswold. One year, my friend Tony. There you go. There it is. My friend. I could show you mine. It was comparable.
You did did you do the roof too?
I did the stupid roof that year with the little white lights hanging up.
Wow.
So my friend Tony, was an electrician, and he said, I'll hook up your spider cable for you. And he hadn't done it. So I took a cord over the fence and plugged it into his power like that. Yeah. And he's standing out there Saturday morning with me going, wait a minute, my cord is plugged into his electricity. Until you hook up the spider cable, that's the way it goes.
Siphoning off his electricity. How about that? Oh man, that's good stuff. All right, let's see if we can get some winners this weekend. We had Chad Millman on not too long ago, and I was talking to him about the Bears and the Browns, and we were talking about a sandwich game, like for the Bears, where they play the Packers, Browns, then Packers again. And I said I factor that in a little bit, but to me that's more collegiate. Like I think college players are more susceptible to that than the pros. I think the pros can be susceptible to that. Ben Johnson brought it up, so I know it's a thing. Because when a coach brings it up, it's already a thing that they gotta contend with. I wanted to take the Bears here. The schedules kind of keep me back a little bit, but then I looked at the Bears' schedule, Dennis, and I'm like, God dang, if they lose to the Browns, they could lose to the Packers, and I think they got the Lions coming up too. It's like they could like fall out of the playoffs. Like this is a super important game for them. Doesn't mean they're going to win. Doesn't mean they're going to win by 7.5. But I just looked at Shedeur Sanders and I'm like, Shedeur on the road. The only good team that they've played since he took over was the Niners, and the Niners killed him. Now, they didn't kill him in yards. It was like 1 yard difference. Yards per play was pretty similar. So I don't know if that makes a huge difference, but they are playing on the road against a good football team. I don't suspect they're going to score much. I don't think the Bears are going to score much because it's cold, and the Browns got a really good defense, although it's better at home than it is on the road. I want to take the Bears here. I'm not sure it'll be a play. But in past years, Dennis, I think this might have been like the Browns. I'll take the Browns plus 7.5, but not this year. What do you think?
Well, first of all, it's the Bears. You know, a lot of their wins this year were nail biters. You know, 1 point over the Raiders, 1 point over these guys, 2 points over them, over the Jets. You know, that this has been Johnson's first year, and you know, last week. Loved the interception at the end because we were laying 6.5 with the Packers against the Bears.
Yes, that was nice.
You know, yeah, it was a very nice interception. But at the same time, I look at it. Remember a year ago, the Bears started out real strong. I think they were like 4-2, 6 weeks in, and they played Washington. And that was the game that they lost on the Hail Mary when the defensive back for the Bears was waving to the crowd and then went in there and tipped the ball up in the air that allowed it to be caught. He couldn't have made more errors in one moment, you know. The thing is, that would have been the Bears' 5th win of the season. And it happened in week 7 or 8, depending on whether they had their bye before that. But that would have been their 5th win of the season. They didn't win their 5th game until the meaningless last game of the season that they won over Green Bay when Green Bay didn't have anything to play for. In other words, now different coaches, couple different coaches before they got through that season, but that was it for the Bears. They were that close. And then, well, I know Ben Johnson is a far cry from the coaching that they had with the 2 guys last year, but I still say this is the Bears. This is the Bears DNA. And they get that close last week to Green Bay and don't get it. I think they're going to take a slide like they're at the dog.
Really? Okay.
Here. I think this is it for them. I think Cleveland beats them this week. I do think that Chicago, it's not so much looking forward to Green Bay again next week. It's just who they are. And that law, I don't think it'll be a play for us, honestly, too. I'm saying I think Cleveland will beat them. I'm not, it probably won't be a play. There's 4 or 5 other games I like more. But, man, I wouldn't be on the Bears this week. Not
okay.
The Bears, not this week.
All right. I could be a week late on this one, and you might be off this one because you were on it last week, and I wasn't. You were on Houston. I liked Kansas City. I'm going to give Kansas City one last shot here. And that was it. I'm like, now it's either a not touch it because I'm not going to keep going. I'm not going to keep doing that. I just figured that was the one chance for him. Now, though, you could say they got one more chance. They win this one. Then it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, they got to win every game and then need help. And they're just not that great. The offensive line isn't that great. Like they're the Chiefs in uniform this year is what they are. And it's hard for, I think, people that watch sports sometimes to take the uniforms off the teams because you're so used to seeing the Ravens be the Ravens and the Chiefs be the Chiefs because they have the same players, a lot of them. They have the same uniforms, but it's not the same year. And they're not the exact same players. They're different. And that you know, watching the Chiefs, that was last week. Do I want the Chargers coming off that incredibly emotional Monday Night Football game against the Eagles? Not really, but they do play well in Kansas City for some reason. But really, I want to go against the Chiefs. But again, I don't know if I just want to jump. I might just say, you know what? I'm just done with the Chiefs games for a little bit. Let me take a breath, cleanse myself, not force a Chiefs play one way or the other, and just kind of watch a Chiefs game. How do you see this one? Because if I was playing it, Dennis, I'd want to take the Chargers.
Well, last week, as you know, we were on opposite sides of that game.
You were.
And I loved Houston. I said, we're getting Houston this year at the right time of the year. They're playing better. They're the better team, and we're getting points. Give me Houston, And then it was halftime. It was 10-0. And I went on the halftime line and said, oh, look at that. The halftime line was Kansas City -4. Right. So now I could have Kansas City +6 for the game. And I already had Houston plus 4.5, I believe.
Yep.
That's a great middle. That's a great middle. And I had a lot of money on Houston. It was 3 house payments. And I went, think. Should I take it? Should I take it? I walked downstairs and went, I even talked to Pam. I went, here's the deal. And she looked at me and said, I don't understand halftime lines. Okay. I went back upstairs and I stood there and went, no, I'll stick with the winner. I'll stick with the winner. Let's stay with Houston. Let's not do it. Because then you get a situation you could win 2, you eliminate the chances of losing, except for the day, right?
Yep.
So I didn't do it. And then the whole third quarter, I sat there, and now it's 10-10. Now, it's like,
I know.
Why didn't I take? I could have eliminated this loss, And then, of course, they win 20-10. The good guys win 20-10 in my mind. So, but didn't do it. Didn't lose at all. Didn't give it back on the halftime line. Now we're in a situation where the Chargers have played so well against the Chiefs for so long. And they beat them on opening day when they played in Brazil to open the season. And now they go to Kansas City. And, obviously they're chasing Denver in the division, still 2 games back, despite the late win. And once again, a close game with the interception at the goal line deciding who wins it. And now they go into and so we're taking the Chargers this year or the Chiefs have passed. No, this is it. Why is that line 5? Why did it go from 3.5 to 5, 5.5 in a blink? It's because there's some real smart guys saying now it's the Chiefs. It looks like it's over for them. It's not their year. This team is not going to pack it in. That's not in their DNA. They're not going to win the division. That's already been established. Mathematically, they're off that chart. But to lose to the Chargers for a second time this season, not going to happen. This is the Chiefs. The Chiefs will win this one, whether it's a play for us because it's a gaudy line. If I would have had the -3, -3.5, maybe 5 makes it a little bit tougher call. But it's the Chiefs here. The Chiefs beat the Chargers on Sunday. Okay,
that'll be a game I just watch then because I'm not going either way on that one. I can't do it. I've seen the Chiefs now. Okay, here's one. Let me give you these are my sometimes I bet on a team, sometimes I bet against a team. Now this one would take some real guts / stupidity to take. And I know that you peddle in those goods from time to time where you're like, just take this game. It looks like trash and this team's trash, but trust me. Like I don't know if I can, but I really want to take the Raiders this week. There's something about 11.5 points for a team that has a hard time scoring 20 points. Just seems like, God, can you get to 10? Can you get to 13? Can you maybe get a turnover against this offense and get some cheap points? Like, the Raiders are so bad. I was looking at their previous games. I'm like, God, this team's just awful. And I don't know if they packed it in this year. They got rid of their offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. It's just all bad right now with the Raiders. Although the people that had the Raiders last week got the miracle cover of their lives and probably should stop wagering until
next year. One of the people that had the Raiders last week was Pete Carroll. why else is he kicking a field goal to cut it from 10? Do you know that field goal not only changed the winner on the spread, it also pushed it to an over?
Total. Yes,
How
it did.
would you have been sitting there with the under
Yes.
and
Yes,
you know,
it
in
did.
Denver and waiting at the window to collect? Ting, ting, gone, gone.
I've never seen a delay a game call like that. I've never seen. I'm like, did he just call delay a game because he wouldn't get off? Like, are you kidding me? You called that? Like, there's no way they were getting that snap off. Either way, whether he got off him or didn't, there's no way they're getting that snap off. So they're just a bad team. But the Eagles aren't great right now. The Eagles are kind of in disarray. They had that stupid good vibes bunny that they brought in the locker room, and then they got rid of it after they lost the child. Like, they're just guessing right now. They're just grasping at straws, trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this team. Why are we playing like this? We should be better than this, but they're not better than this. The offensive line isn't better than that. And it just, again, the Raiders stink. That's why they're getting 11.5 points. I mean, that's why they're getting a lot of points. So what do you think of this one? I'm hoping you'll say don't take the Raiders, because I really don't want to take the Raiders, but I kind of want to take the Raiders.
Well, I made this mistake 2 years ago. The Eagles were in the same kind of dive they're in now at the end of the season. They lost 5 of the last 6 games. And then got eliminated in their first round of the playoffs. And their one win was against a poor New York Giants team. And I said, well, this is where they'll get them. This is the Eagles aren't going to lose to the Giants. Yeah, they didn't lose to the Giants, but they lost the point spread, and I'm thinking this is exactly the same kind of situation where they're not going to lose to the Raiders. Yeah, they may not lose to the Raiders, but there is no way that I'm going to wager on them winning by 12 or more. Not in this spot. The Eagles are not, and if they do, that's fine. But I'm not going to make the mistake I made 2 years ago, saying, "Well, they'll handle this game." Yeah, they may win. I wouldn't bet on the Raiders on the money line, but I wouldn't bet against them on the point spread either. So I'm telling you, God be with you, my son. You do a great job.
It's going to be a bad Sunday for me. Because what's going to happen is they're going to be down 14-0.
Oh, cancel universe. Cancel. It's not going to be a bad Sunday for Tom. Cancel universe. Don't be saying things like that. I'm reading a book right now on visualizations and how.
Okay, very good.
To see positive, eliminate negative. No, Tom didn't say that.
Okay, I didn't say that. All right, let me give you the other one I want to bet against. I really want to take the Bengals, not because I want to take the Bengals, but because I want to go against the Ravens. Because just again, I think people look at them and go, "Oh, they're still the Ravens. They still got Lamar Jackson." Now, if they were playing good, granted, they'd be more than a 2.5 point favorite. But I love that line too, 2.5. Hey, all you got to do is win by a field goal. You're good to go. I don't love that Burrow's like questioning his love for football this week, but hey, the Bengals can do that to you. And I think coming off another rehab can probably drain you pretty good. Like I've seen guys in that situation. I've come off rehab, not multiple consecutive years of rehab where you're just like, God, he just feels like he needs an off season to kind of re-find his love for the game and everything. And I think it'll be fine. But look, they could have beaten the Bills if it wasn't for 2 interceptions, back-to-back plays that were kind of like freak plays. One, the defensive lineman just snatched it when he tried to throw it over his head on a little swing pass, and the other was a deflection where a guy picked it off. It's like, and that was basically the game. They've been playing pretty good. Burrow gives them a chance to win every game they play in, but this isn't even about them, Dennis. It's about the Ravens and how they're playing and how their running game isn't what it was, and how Lamar Jackson isn't what he is and what he has been. He's not running the way he used to run. I don't know if he's hurt or not. He's not throwing the ball the way he threw the ball. The defense hasn't been great all year anyway. In fact, the Ravens defense hasn't been great in quite some time. So this is more, again, I kind of wanted to play against the Chiefs. You said that I knew the sharp money was on the Chiefs, but I'll probably just watch that one. I want to bet on the Raiders, but really I want to bet against the Eagles. And this one, I kind of really just want to bet against the Ravens. How do you see this one?
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, Thanksgiving weekend, the Bengals came into Baltimore, and Baltimore had just caught Pittsburgh in the standings the week before with their 5th straight win. although they hadn't covered the spread for 2 straight weeks coming into that Cincinnati game. Just got by the Jets and just got by somebody else in a close fashion without covering the spread. So we looked at that game, and I said, I didn't have a play on any of the 3 games on Thanksgiving this year, which is a rarity, but the one we would have had would have been Cincinnati that day, because we were in a situation where the Bengals were, getting Burrow back. That was his first game back. And we saw that when a team is winning but not covering, they most often will have a straight up loss before they cover another big line. It's just a pattern that goes on. They don't get the motivation or whatever it is, the rebarb, to blow somebody away while they're still winning, even though they're not covering. And that was the spot the Ravens were in. They just spent 5 weeks catching the Steelers in the standings, and then they go as a 6.5-point home favorite over the Bengals with Burrow coming back. Bad spot. Bad spot. I didn't have confidence in the Bengals yet, to pull the trigger on it. Should have, but didn't.
Yeah.
And then it's easy, 32-14 or whatever it was. The Bengals were all over them on Thanksgiving. And so now what? Well, now Baltimore gets a chance to make up for that game because Pittsburgh followed that up with a loss to Buffalo. So they're still tied when they played last week. And Baltimore is still favored by 5.5 points over Pittsburgh, thinking, okay, we're going to get back into first place. And they lose to Pittsburgh. Once again, close. It looked to me like Likely had the touchdown that they took away. That's close to what they did to the Detroit receiver years ago, where he set
Calvin Johnson.
That was ridiculous. Same thing with Likely. He's holding in front of him. He took 2 steps. That play's over. He's in the end zone, guys. Anyway. So that was how they lost it, but they lost it. So they were confident against the Bengals 2 weeks ago, lost. They were confident against Pittsburgh last week, lost. What are they this week? Now they lost to Cincinnati 2 weeks ago, big, and now they're going to Cincinnati, and they're off of 2 straight up losses. Oh, no. This is a totally focused Baltimore team. This is a team that is no longer in first. They're back in that spot. They had shown they could come back in a division by winning the 5 in a row, and now they're playing a team that beat them 2 weeks ago, and people are saying Burrow makes the defense better. Yeah, Burrow makes the defense better. This Cincinnati's defense was on pace a few weeks ago to give up more points than any team in NFL history. I'm telling you, Baltimore. Oh, see, you thought it was going to be a bad Sunday. I'm here to help you, Tom. I'm here. I'm here to say now I know why you thought it was going to be a bad Sunday. You were not going to bet on the Chiefs. You were going to bet on the Bengals. Here I am. We're going to absolve you of your former sins. We had the Steelers last week. It was a great play. You were right. You were right. Don't rest on your laurels. Come back with another great play, Tom. Here we go.
It sounds like this is going to be a play for you.
I love Baltimore. I'm waiting to see that. I haven't bet it yet. I'm looking. Opened at 2, went to 2.5. While 68% of the people are betting on Cincinnati, it went to 2.5. I saw a 3 today at the sharpest book I follow. I'm not worried that everybody's going to go to 3. 2.5 is probably the line. And because I'm going to bang on this one, I'm going to wait till I get the numbers in tonight from the casinos to make sure that I'm not off track on this. It's Baltimore.
Okay. I'm just not convinced they're that good, but okay. All right, everybody. I mean, most people, if not everybody that's watching right now / listening, they're going to want to know about the Niners. It's the Niners laying 12.5 to the Titans. I mean, this would be a one-way play for me, the Niners, but I'm not that interested in playing it. They're coming off a bye week. The division is still up for grabs. I mean, they still have a chance to win that dang thing. There's so much to be decided yet in the division. They did catch a big break, not in this game, But in the game against the Colts, where Daniel Jones goes out, now that game becomes a little more manageable for him. And then the Bears at home, and then the Seahawks at home. So this one, I don't know. This is such a big point spread. I don't see how the Niners lose this game. I don't see how the Titans win this game. But 12.5, such a massive number. It's just such a big number, and the Niners defense isn't great. Back door could be open, wide open for the Titans. So I don't know. Do you have a feeling on this one way or the other? Because I don't know that I could take the Titans unless you make a super compelling case. But I just probably just watch this one.
Well, the Titans are playing football. I mean, they're coming out each week and giving it all. They don't have many results to show for it, but the team hasn't quit. Just like the Dolphins a few weeks ago. I was so surprised to see that they hadn't turned on their coach, because we love their coach because he was here in San Francisco, and I love him, and I love his total off the wall. He looks like he's just a different cat for being a head coach. I love him. And I thought that the Dolphins would turn on him at any moment when the thing was going south, but they didn't. He never lost the locker room, and the Dolphins have now won 4 in a row. I think they're going to have trouble Monday night against the Steelers, but they've won 4 in a row. Now we get a situation, same thing here. Tennessee isn't doing nothing, got rid of the coach early in the season. They're playing right now as a pretty good unit. You don't see dissension. You don't see lackadaisical play. They're not very talented yet, or it hasn't merged, to be good. But yeah, and then you get the 49ers, who have overachieved all year. Good for them. Tribute to the coaching staff. I give a lot of credit to Robert Saleh. I hear you say the defense isn't that good. Well, it's not going to be as good as it could have been, given they lost their best 2 defensive impact players, to injuries. But Robert Saleh has had this team prepared for every contest that they've met their opponents. So I'm with you. It's a situation where, I can't see him losing this game. No way am I going to lay 12.5. There's nothing in the 49ers that says, let's go out and blow them away. I think they're just going to play this game and keep it in front of them and coast to a 7, 8, 9, 12, 10-point win. But 12.5, no. It could be 26-0. Fine, get 26-0, but I'm not betting on it.
Yeah, no. Shanahan and Saleh have done a fantastic job this year, no doubt about it. You mentioned it. I like the Steelers. I think people are making a big deal out of the Dolphins. And the Dolphins have played great, and they haven't quit. And McDaniel's done a nice job there the last month and a half. And people are making a big deal out of, hey, they went to New York last week and whacked the Jets, and it was cold temperature there. No, that was mildly chilly compared to what they're going to get in Pittsburgh on Monday night. It is going to be frigid. I think it was upper 30s in New York. Good. That's cold. I mean, trust me, I'm inside today and it's 50 outside. 38 to me might as well be the Arctic. But 38 compared to 18, a little bit different. And I think the Dolphin offense is going to have a little more trouble functioning in that type of weather. Now, I don't love the fact that I'm going to wait and see where TJ Watt's status is. I read one report said he's out. Another report said they're going to wait till Monday because they got the extra day to he's dealing with a lung infection and in the hospital in Pittsburgh. So I don't know. And he's obviously a huge deal when it comes to their defense in Pittsburgh. So they're coming off a big win in Baltimore last week. They're back in first place. But this to me is more about a Miami team coming up in December, frigid weathers. Rodgers is certainly used to this. Although he's old now, so his bone, he might just freeze out there. He might just go brittle. He might get hit and break into like 17 different pieces. I have no idea. But a long way of saying I like Pittsburgh in this one. I don't think, even without TJ Watt, I would lay the 3.5 and take Pittsburgh. How do you see it?
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy in Florida, JR, who I mentioned from time to time. He's a good friend, and he's a Dolphin season ticket holder. God be with him. And so you get a situation where he's always down on the Dolphins. Have they really won 4 in a row? I don't think so. Yeah, they have, JR. Your team has won 4 in a row. Oh, they're not going to win this week. I can tell you that much, And I said, I'm suspicious of this game. What do you mean you're suspicious? It's 3.5. We should lay it right now, right? And I said, not necessarily. It opened at 3, went to 3.5. Okay, that's a right move. Now it's back to 3. Who's moving that line? This is not dumb money. This is not dumb money moving that line. So he says, I don't understand how you think. And I said, I know you don't, Joe. That's why you're a gambler and I'm on my side of the But the way I'm thinking is, it's not that we get a better line when it goes down to 3. It's we might be on the wrong side. I'm with you. For all practical purposes, it looks like Pittsburgh. But I always have rule number 1, don't give the books what they want. And if they move that line to 3, they want Pittsburgh money. That's the truth. There's no way that line comes down, no matter what the numbers are doing. If that line comes down, the books are fishing for Pittsburgh money. Don't give the books what they want. We've got a couple days to look at this game, and some numbers to look at, see what the weather is and everything else. But I'm cool, maybe not 18 degrees cool, but I'm pretty cool on this game right now. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the reason the line went from 3.5 to 3 was the TJ Watt news. I think that's pretty explainable. I don't think it goes back down to 3.5.
Injuries are the biggest factor in the line shifting. Injuries are always the biggest line. The first thing is the injuries. You're right.
Yeah, that's kind of the line. That's the side I'm looking at. Okay, a couple more. Big game of the weekend. Maybe not big game of the weekend. There. I mean, some of them are big. Oh, there's a couple I want to get to. Well, hell, maybe I'll get to a couple more then, or maybe 3 more. Who knows? Because there's one I am interested in taking. Rams-Lions. This one, when I saw it, I thought, God, that's a pretty big spot for the Lions. 5. That's that. And then it went to 5.5. And then it went to 6. And then it went back down to 5.5, back up to 6. And I go, okay, it's got to be the Rams. I mean, you're laying a pretty big line to the Lions on the road, a team that's thought of as one of the best in the NFC. I don't know that they are or not. The offense has been kind of funky this year. It hasn't been quite as good, quite as consistent, especially away from home. You get the whole Goff coming back home angle to LA, and they've done that before. They did that in the playoff.
Yeah, that's old.
I don't think that's a big deal one way or the other. But I think the Rams may be the best team in football. They may be the best team. I think they're the best team in the NFC. And I don't know if you mentioned this. You may have mentioned it. Maybe somebody else did. But how good the Lions are after losses. Like, they're fantastic against the spread and straight up after losses. Not so great after wins. So traveling across country, and the line that I thought was pretty generous at 5 and then went to 6 just kind of led me to think the Rams are probably the right side on this one. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I bought the 5.5 at the 5.5 when it came back down. I saw the 6.
Oh, okay.
5.5, and I went, yeah, I want to be under the 6. It's a big number. It's the injury to Branch, the defensive back from the Lions.
Safety.
Another time that this poor team is going through injuries. Sam Laporta, their tight end gets hurt, and he was a big factor, particularly in the red zone. And he's a great blocker, and so you take that out, and then his backup gets hurt. So they're the third string tight end for what used to be a strength. It's now, I hate to call it a weakness, but it certainly is more of a liability than a strength. And so, and you get him coming off the big win over Dallas, that I thought, even though they ended up winning by 14, I thought that came a little bit tougher than it should have. Given how we came into that game, I thought Detroit would hammer down a little bit further, and the fact that the defense got dented by Dallas, who has a good offense, but the defense got dented as much as it did, threw a red flag on me saying it isn't Detroit this year. This, and then Branch gets hurt during that game, and now you send him to the West Coast, and they opened the season last year with a win over that Detroit won 26-20. In Detroit on opening day over the Rams last year. So that's where Goff got any kind of revenge for a trade. And I don't think that was the first time they played since the Matthew Goff exchange.
Yeah.
So now we get a situation. The only thing I'm afraid of with the Rams is, are they going to do what they did to us a few weeks ago against Seattle, where I thought they were in a great spot against Seattle and only won by 2, given more on the spread. And in that game they had 4 interceptions and still didn't cover a 4-point line. What's that about?
Yeah.
Get 4 turnovers on Darnold. You should win the game by 20 points. That was a concern. But now the Rams, here they are tied with Seattle for first place. They have the tiebreaker because of that 2-point win, but they're not comfortable in their lead. And Detroit, I would usually like them in a situation in a 3-way battle with Chicago and Green Bay in the NFC North. That adds a little bit to their motivation, given their standings. But ultimately, it's just talent in this game. And you get the Rams at home needing a win against a banged-up Detroit secondary with perhaps the guy that's headed to an MVP season from the quarterback position, and a healthy Rams team. They started the year banged up, but they're as healthy as a team can be after 14 weeks of play. And so put all it together, I think the Rams win this one pretty big. I think this is a double-digit victory for the Rams. I like it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you on that one. All right, before I get to the game I wanted to ask you about, let me ask you about the other game of the week, Packers and Broncos. And I mean, just right off the top, I think the NFC is like better and deeper than the AFC. So I would be more inclined to take one of the top NFC teams over the top AFC teams. I like Love a little bit more than I like Knicks. I love Denver's defense, and the coaching's probably cancel each other out. I think LaFleur is really good. Peyton obviously is really, really good. This might be one that I just sit back and watch. I think they're favored by 2.5. The Packers are on the road. If I had to, I'd probably go Packers, because I think we talk about want versus need. I think they both want to win this game. I think the Packers need to win this game. The Broncos don't necessarily need to win this game. You look at the rest of the division, they've separated themselves from the Chargers, and everybody else is they don't need to worry about them. So they're in good shape. Really, it's are we going to get the 1 seed or the 2 seed unless they collapse. That doesn't provide any amount of desperation to you. It's like kind of phony desperation. Oh, we really like the bye. Yeah, but if you don't get it, you're still going to get the number 2 seed. You're fine. Whereas Green Bay, you lose a couple games in the NFC, you could find yourself at 7 or even further down the list. So that's probably where if I was going to take it, Dennis, that's where I would look. I always look, okay, who needs this game? Who wants this game? Well, everybody wants to win. Who needs to win? I would say that the Packers need this game more than the Broncos do. How do you see it?
First of all, this Denver team is so weird, in that they have played the Raiders twice, the Jets, the Titans, and the Commanders, right? 5 teams that I should have the number for you, but they're like 5-26, 5-27 against us straight up this year. And yet against the Broncos, those 4 teams are 5-0 against the spread.
Really?
And the Broncos won all those games, but starting with the losing to the Titans against the Lions on opening day, they've lost all.
Wow.
They were in Europe against the Jets and only won 13-11. Last week, Pete Carroll covered his 8-point line, when he kicked the field goal, to beat him. And so, but their wins have come against the best teams they've played. They beat Philadelphia. They beat the Chiefs, and so they're who are these guys? Who are these guys? And so I think part of it is by design. There's such a good defense, and Peyton is such a bright coach that he's got the governor on Bo Nix to not make mistakes. Don't put more pressure on our defense. Just methodically, in the words of, Hank Stram, matriculate it down the field, boys. Don't do anything stupid, and don't turn the ball over. stay inside the lines and let our defense, which leads the league in sacks, handle the game for us from that side. The defense will give you a couple good field positions. Don't return the favor. And so that keeps the games close. It also provides wins when you have the better defense against anybody. And so, yeah, they don't cover against the bad teams, but they've played very well against the good teams. That said, this is a real bad spot for them because Green Bay does need it more. They have a 2-game lead on the Chargers. And so with 3-4 games to go, that's a pretty substantial lead in their division. So need versus want, need goes to the Packers. Do I want to lay points with the Packers off their emotional win against the Bears?
Yeah.
See, that throws a little, into the
monkey
gear.
wrench. Yes.
Monkey wrench is what I was looking for there. Yes. We've known each other enough now, Tom, to fill each other's sentences in when we draw blanks. But yeah, throw a monkey wrench into the gears right there. Is that is a concern. And then you back up one more step to try to get perspective on the game, visualize this. And that is, why would the Packers be favored if they weren't going to win?
Good question. I guess we have our answer.
Yeah, there it is. And so as I say, I am much more intent on winning with the books than trying to beat the books. The books give you the clues what way they want you to bet. Just don't do that. And in this case, they have candy out there with the other game that we're going to talk about, no doubt too. They put candy on the spread, and it is a fool's gold. So I don't know if I'll have this game. I probably not, but my leanings would be to Green Bay.
All right, we only got a few games left. I'm gonna get to one, and then I'll let you pick the last one. But again, one of these. I'm finding myself in a situation this week where I'm looking at these teams. I'm going, do I really want to try them? I want to give them a shot. I don't really like them, but I talked myself into betting against the other team. I kind of want to take the Vikings this week. I know why. It's the laying 6 with the Cowboys, who have been so good at home. But I think after losing last week, that's it. Like the playoff dream is dead. And JJ McCarthy, I don't know how good he is. I don't think he's as bad as everybody makes him out to be. Did the Vikings probably misstep in trading up to get him? Probably. Will he end up being a top flight quarterback? More than likely not. But I don't think he's terrible. And again, I this is more against the Cowboys. They've played some games at home where they've been small favorites or underdogs and rallied and won those games and had a nice little winning streak. And I got to say, I really like O'Connell too. I like O'Connell, the head coach of the Vikings, maybe a little bit more than Schottenheimer. Although Schottenheimer's done a nice job with the Cowboys. How do you see this one? This one I just looked at and go, do I really want to try the Vikings coming off a 31-0 victory? Do I want to try that team? I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just wear a paper bag over my head. I don't know.
Well, your declaration early in this show of it's going to be a bad Sunday is becoming very clear now. Yeah, we'll clear that up for you, sir. Sometimes you have a premonition based on, But here's, I don't know about this game at all. I think this is an interesting contest. JJ McCarthy better be good. Otherwise, the Vikings made more mistakes than Mr. Bean would. It just absolutely it's just they had their ace. They had Darnell.
I know. Let him go. Unbelievable.
Then okay, well, let's go play Darnell. Whoop, beat us 26.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that's that. Well, they can always say, when I said I do my own laundry or something, or I didn't have the Titans. In that case, they can say, Well, the Steelers cut Johnny Unitas. They got that still going for them. They didn't say that. Why not? Minnesota got nothing left to play for except to see if J.J. McCarthy can be their quarterback of the future. So no pressure, none of that, and yet a desire to play well for the kid. And last week they proved it against Washington. So, I would be on the Vikings side of this game. But, once again, and Cowboys offense is pretty good.
They are.
And they're coming off a loss. And so, you take a 31-1 winner, 31-0 winner, and put them on the road against a team coming off a loss. That's not good mechanics to take that team that lost last week.
Yeah.
Here, those mechanics would favor the Cowboys. I'm not on the Cowboys in this spot.
All right. And go ahead and pick a game. I'm going to guess.
I'm surprised you didn't hit it. I think it's the game of the week.
Panthers Saints.
Yeah. See, there it is. You know me.
No. Well, we didn't have many games to choose from, and I figured that was about the ugliest one out there. So let's go ahead.
No, the one I'm looking at is the Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots.
Oh yeah, that's you know what? That was my bad because there were 3 games that were like really good games: the Rams game, the Packer game, and then the Bills game, or the other team, if you want to look at it that way. This one's fascinating that the Bills were 7-point favorites at home earlier the year at home, got beat outright, and now they're still a favorite in New England. And I don't know. I'm guessing this may be this is just a guess by me. You could go the other way on me. But I'm guessing this might fit into they're favored for one reason, because they're going to win. Because really they shouldn't be favored. They're 2 games behind the Patriots. They already got beat by the Patriots at home. Why would they be favored on the road against the Patriots? Why? I feel like I'm doing a Jerry Seinfeld. Why would they be favored? Why? Why would they? Because they're going to win. That's why. And there's my sock. All right, go ahead. What do you got in this game?
Well, I'll tell you what is interesting is the New England Patriots, and they beat me a few times this year because I don't usually get on a bandwagon. When everybody's jumping on a team and winning week after week, I'm usually on the side of the coin saying, well, they can't win this week. They can't win this week.
Yep.
And fortunately, I won one with Atlanta over New England when I was on the other side of New England, and I've only lost twice because I haven't dipped into that pool too often to try to beat them. But I will this week. And here's the situation. The Patriots are amazing. They have now scored at least 23 points and given up 23 or less points 9 straight weeks.
Wow.
No one has ever done that 10 times in a row. No one has ever done that 10 times in a row, and no one ever did it 9 times in a row in the NFL. The only team to do it 9 times in a row was in 1961, the Houston Oilers of the American Football League. And they went on to win that division title. The first team to do it in the NFL was the Philadelphia Eagles in 1949, and they won the NFL championship. In the Super Bowl era, there have been 3 teams to do it: the 99 Rams, the 84 49ers, and the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles. They all won the Super Bowl. And those teams all did the 23 above and below 7 or more times. These guys have done it 9 times. And if they do it on Sunday, it'll be an unprecedented 10 times. And does that mean they're going to win the Super Bowl? Not necessarily. But it's like clouds forming in Foxborough. It doesn't mean it's going to snow, but it is a precursor to it snowing. Yeah. It gets dark there first. And so they've done what they needed to do. So the Patriots, hats off to the Patriots, hats off to Mike Vrabel, everything else. Now you get a situation where what we call a 31. And that is, we go into a game where after it's over, one team is either going to be 3 games back or 1 game back. And the team that's going to be 3 games back, if they lose, has a lot more motivation to pull within 1 than the team that's up by 2 pulling to 3. So in that situation, we used to call it a quack side. We won the first 14 times we released a quack side. And that was this situation, a 31. And so I'm in a spot here where I go, okay. I bought a pick'em because it went down for a pick'em. And while I was hitting it, I got it. And then I went back to check the line and I'd already moved the line. They moved it back to the 1, so I think I'm the only guy in America that got the 1, got it good. And so it may go back to pick'em because it's the New England Patriots. It could go back to a pick'em. I think people saying it's just 1 point. But as you sound, why would it be the Buffalo the favorite? Now, it could just be that, well, Buffalo's the favorite because it's basic handicapping. Yeah, they're a good team. They're 2 games back and all that. That's not a secret, that works usually. So that could be it. I think it's more than that. I think that Buffalo's season is on the line and New England's record is on the line. Record, I'm saying, go 10 in a row.
Yeah.
I'll always take the one that has a season on the line over, like I took the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I wasn't interested in worrying about the Chiefs trying to win 3 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles were the better team. Here we go. Same situation, not the same situation here as far as a better team. I think New England is better than Buffalo this year because of their defense. I think it's better. But Buffalo, push come to shove, yeah, this is a play for us. I'm sitting here with this and with Baltimore and with the Rams and looking at those 3 and whatever else pops up as a potential top pick. But I love all 3 of those games. I love those 3 games that we've discussed a lot. And this is probably at the top of the list.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I'm definitely with you on this one. The Rams. I'm gonna have to sleep. I'm gonna have to sleep on Baltimore. I have to make sure you sleep on that one, and it comes to me. Well, be careful. No more going on the roof up there.
I'm done on the roof. I'm done on the ladder. Everything is low now. I've got the 1 tree. Well, there'll be a little ladder there. I got 1 tree that we just do white lights on in the front.
Okay.
And then the spotlights. We got 6 spotlights that light up the bushes.
Oh yeah. Those are nice.
That's it. What do you think about those things that they set up and it throws the whole thing on the wall? You know what I mean?
We had those for a couple of years. We put them in the backyard. So when you're driving in the neighborhood, you could see the back of our house. And yeah, you could see them up there. And then we put them on the garage. To me, it wasn't quite as vibrant. Like, they're okay. I don't mind them. But I like putting the lights up better. I think the lights look better. It's more work. I mean, these things, you just stick them in the ground, turn them on, and point them, and you're good to go. The setup's rather easy, and the takedown's nice too. You're like, okay, let's take it down. Yeah. Literally 7 minutes later, they're all unplugged and put back in the box. But yeah, I like them. I kind of like them in conjunction with the lights, if I could find the right places to put them. But I guess I'm more traditional in that I like the lights. I like putting up the lights and kind of matching the lights. And we used to use the big bulbs like you're using now. And then I found myself getting to the point where I was like, well, why? I don't want the blue lights on there. And I don't want the orange lights on there. I was like, I always used to say, get rid of the Broncos. Get rid of the Broncos. Get the blue and orange out of here. And let's just we'd buy more lights. And then I'd end up spending all day like making sure they were in the right order. Red, white, green, red, white, green. I couldn't have red, white, green, green, green. Like, it drives me nuts when they get 2 that are next to each other. So I was like, okay, this isn't working. I'm going to drive myself crazy doing this stuff with the big bulbs. So I stopped getting the big bulbs, and I got the little icicle lights that were red, white, and green. So that's what we have now. But I've used them before. I like them, but I like the lights better. I like the light. I do like that. I like the energy sucking lights better. The LED lights aren't quite as bright. I know it's not good for my pocketbook and probably not good for the earth, but the earth's gonna have to do without that one.
1 year, I did have the spider cord that Tony hooked up for me, and I inadvertently plugged the lights into the middle thing, which is used for higher. It's not the 120, but it's 240. I plugged that in, turned it on, and stood out the front. That went, and So I just stood there. I had a 4-minute 4th of July show. Just
Oh
sparklers.
God.
I watched all my lights burn up. Just
Oh,
explode. Just explode.
you hit the wrong holiday.
That would be. I wish friends would have been here to see this. It was spectacular. But this year, I just remembered I haven't changed it yet. I do red, green, red, green, red, green.
Yeah.
Right? Well, as I was doing my search on them, looking at them, I noticed that up the side of the house here, on the long side, 14 lights down, I missed a socket. So I need to go up there and change all the lights that are above it, the 14 that are above it, down one and add a new one at the top, because I missed that socket. And then so it's got a blank there, and it goes red, green, but I got to fill in that spot. It's got to.
Well, be careful.
All the lights. It just
be careful.
It's such a game. It's such a game, And last year Kevin did it all for me, Kevin. But I wasn't in shape to be able to do the lights last year.
Yeah.
And so Kevin did it and did a great job, and I really appreciated it. And he said, "You want me to do it again this year, Dad?" No. I feel so good that I'm able to do it. I'm on the road.
Well, have a good time. Enjoy. Hopefully everything's done. I think I should be done this weekend too. Let's get some winners, and I'll talk to you next week, Dennis.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
See you, Dennis. Dennis Ranahan, Quack's Eye Sports, picksfootball.com. Baltimore, I'm going to have to kind of wrap my head around. And I was against Baltimore. I've had decent luck betting Baltimore games this year, but I don't know. He might be right on that. I do like Buffalo. I do like the Rams. We're back to basketball again. We just, boom. Yeah, Dagnall's a good coach. Dagnall's a fantastic coach. No doubt about it. For those that are trying to catch up here, we just jumped right from football back into Oklahoma City. And Adam was wondering about their head coach. Yeah, he's really good. He's really, really sharp. But really what makes OKC is the talent and the depth of the talent and how well it all fits together and how good defensively they are. They are a dominant defensive team. And far and away the best defensive team in the league. And they turn you over, and they're really good in the open court, and they have their stud, the go-to guy, getting the ball if you need a bucket. You need a run stopped. You need a guy at the end of the game you give the ball to and make something happen. That's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Can Tom share some of that? How am I supposed to share it? I'm not going to have everybody over for a beer. Although I was thinking maybe one of these days we'll do something at Phil Work. We'll have some listeners come over and we'll do like a little party or something if we can get Barry up to it. That definitely would be fun. I do need to get Steve on and get a Christmas light update. Maybe I can have Steve go outside and take a picture of the tree that we saw. It's like a palm tree that I think they just keep the Christmas lights up there all year long. I would too. Tree's tall as hell. I wouldn't want to get up there every single year. Not that he's doing it. Come on. Someone else coming out there and doing that tree. No way Steve was doing that tree. So I got a few things I need to red and gold. The red and gold. Yeah, red and gold's not Christmassy though. I don't think Steve does red and gold. So although there is gold, we used gold for one Christmas, white and gold. We did white and gold, like a white and gold kind of Christmas. It was cool. And so am I going to watch Arizona SMU? Of course I am. Am I going to lay 3 with Arizona? Look, betting bowl games is not something that I do. I mean, I guess I do a little bit, but I wouldn't tell anybody else, hey, I like this game a lot. Who knows who's playing? Who's opting out? Who's transferring? Who's just sitting out? Like, I don't know who's playing in the bowl games unless you're talking college football playoffs. And I don't really I kind of like Alabama over Oklahoma, even though they're at home. One, I like Alabama because everybody's like, Alabama shouldn't have been in. And I think that is Not that you need extra motivation, but gives you a little extra. They were 200 yards better than Oklahoma the last time they played them. 200 yards better than Oklahoma. They just turned the ball over. I think Oklahoma, if I remember correctly, had a pick 6 in that game. Now you're going to make me look it up, aren't you? If you want a play, just play Army Navy under this week. Seems to win every single year. Every single year that one seems to win. I'm not going to play it because that's what everybody plays, so I'm not going to play it. But let's see. I liked Miami at 4.5. I'm not going to bet it now that it's at 3.5. Oregon 21.5 over James Madison. Ole Miss 17.5 over. Let's see. Alabama's back to a 1-point dog now. Okay. I just wanted to give you the stats for when they played Oklahoma. They played Oklahoma about a month ago, the 15th, lost 23-21 at home and outgained them in that game 406 to 212. Picks 1, fumbles 2 to Oklahoma's no turnovers. So 3 turnovers to none in that game. Oklahoma ran 23, 33, 43, 48 plays. Let's call it 50 plays for about 200 yards. They were a little over 4 yards per play in that game. Alabama ran 42, 57, 67, 75 plays for a little over 500 yards, 400 yards. So they were about 5 yards a play is what they were. And so, I mean, they were better from the line of scrimmage. And I just think the problem is Ty Simpson hasn't been great the last month. He was like really good. Remember, he was like a Heisman guy. People were talking about him being the first player drafted, first quarterback drafted. Not going to happen. I mean, no, he's not even going to be. He should stay. If he has eligibility left, he should stay another year because you look at his game logs. Against Oklahoma, he passed for 326. He had a touchdown and an interception. Since then, he's been 147, 11 for 16, 147. Auburn, 19 for 35 for 122. And Georgia, 19 for 36, or 19 for 39 for 212. He just hasn't been great. And that's not the only games he scuffled a little bit. So, that being said, I still like them. I don't think Mateer will be healthier than he's been, but I don't think he's been great. He hasn't been great either. The quarterback for the Sooners, John Mateer. Just looking at his game log here, he was good against LSU, 23 for 38 for 318. But before that, 14 for 30, 173, 15 for 23, 138, 19 for 29, 159. So they did throw 3 picks against LSU too. So kind of like Bama, but that's about it in the playoffs. I wanted to bet against Notre Dame, except they won't be there to bet against. I kind of want to go against BYU, the teams that were closest to being in the playoffs. But I mean, how motivated could those teams be? You think you should be in the playoffs, you just miss out. I won't get that chance against Notre Dame. What's their AD? Is it Pete Bavacqua? I know it's Bavacqua because I kept thinking Bavacqua. I kept thinking of Tommy Lasorda in my head. Bavacqua. Bavacqua. If I was pitching that day, I'd send a limousine to get that cocksucker to make sure he was in the lineup. Bavacqua. Fucking Tommy Lasorda. Oh, I miss managers like that. Bavacqua. What do you think I thought of Kingman's performance? It's kind of a fucking tough question to ask me, isn't it? He had fucking 3 home runs against us. 8 RBIs? Shit. It's a tough question to ask me. The Bavacqua is the best one. Bavacqua, LaFay. If I was pitching, I'd send a limousine to get that cocksucker to make sure he was in the lineup. I'd bury him. One of the best rants of all time is Bavacqua. But I think this was Pete Bavacqua, if I'm not mistaken. Bavacqua, I know is his last name. I think it was Pete. Crying and complaining about the ACC throwing him under the bus. Join the conference then. Join the conference. Miami's a full member. They should be pubbing Miami. They should be touting Miami. They should be pushing Miami, making sure they get in. Not you. You're not a full member in football. You're a full member in other sports, not football. Join the conference. Notre Dame's not going to join the conference, though. And look, we can sit here and bitch and complain about Notre Dame, but if you're Notre Dame and you make all the money you make and you get to keep it to yourself, why would you join a conference? Why would you join a conference? But there are going to be some downsides to not being in the conference. Although moving forward, if they're in the top 12, apparently they are going to be in the college football playoffs. Should they be in the college football playoffs this year? Yes and no. No, because they didn't beat anybody. They lost to the two teams that made it to the college football playoffs. Good losses, great. Where's your good win? USC? That's it. That's all you have to speak of. Move on. Miami beat you. But we lost to them. They're good, right? They're in the play. No, you had a chance. You had two chances at the beginning of the year. I love the fact that you scheduled that aggressively. I don't know if it's smart going. I think it was back-to-back against those teams. Or was it 2 out of the first 3 weeks? I want to say it was back-to-back, but I definitely have to look that one up to make sure. But either way, you have 2 cracks at it. You lose both of them. You beat USC. Miami beat you. So that's their good win. And I think you have to honor head-to-head when it's that close. They played some of the same opponents, beat them in the ACC. But if you're in the ACC is going to back you too because you're a full-fledged member. But they don't want to be a full-fledged member. And I don't blame them. I mean, that's part of the arrogance that people hate about Notre Dame. But if your school could do it, you'd do it too. You get your own television contract. You can set your own schedule up. People want to play you because it's a nationally televised game and it's a big game, good for recruiting. Of course, if I'm Notre Dame, I probably stay independent. But no one wants to hear you cry and complain. I don't even care that you're not playing. I know some people are saying, oh, a bunch of quitters, they're not playing. Yeah, but that wasn't Notre Dame. We weren't going to get to see Notre Dame play. There's a bunch of athletes on that team that would have sat out that game. You think Love was going to play in that game, a meaningless bowl game? I've seen athletes, his equal, sit out lesser bowl games where you're like, yeah, no, I'm good. This would have been against BYU, would have been a good game, but why? It's meaningless, which is why the playoffs are good. Everyone's going to play. They're meaningful games. What else could you want? Does it hurt the bowl system? Of course it does. But the bowl system is what it always has been. Games that don't mean much. The only thing about bowl games now is more guys opt out. More guys want to transfer. More guys want to leave their school. More guys want to put themselves in the portal. So it'd be nice if they could do something with the calendar and make everything after the final playoff game. Make everything after the final playoff game. And make NIL deals contingent on finishing a year. Like if you want your NIL money, you get it at the end of the year if you finish the year. Put it in a contract, you owe it to them. Whether they transfer or not, if they finish that year for that school, they get the money. That's just the way it is. But a lot of these guys already have their money. They're like, why am I sticking around? It's a meaningless bowl game. And I don't know that I blame them. So it's just kind of a messed up. It's a messed up system is what it is. And there's not much you're going to do about it. But they're whining from Notre Dame. It's like, please, just stop. They're going to be everyone's going to get left out at one point or another. Everyone's getting left out. Could I make a case that they belonged in and Alabama didn't? Yeah, I could. Because Alabama wasn't playing great football at the end of the year. I think Notre Dame is one of the best 10 teams in the country, maybe even one of the best 5 teams in the country. You look at how they were power ranked. They're power ranked very high, higher than Alabama was, probably by a couple points. They'd probably be a 3-4 point favorite on a neutral field, especially the way Alabama's playing. But Alabama beat better teams. They had that, and that's what being in one of those conferences gives you the opportunity to do: face those teams. If you're not in a conference, you don't get a chance to face those teams. You don't get a chance to face Georgia, who they beat. You don't get a chance to face Vandy, who they beat. You don't get a chance to face whoever, but you're going to get those chances in a conference. Not all the time, which is why conferences are screwed up now too. That's how Miami ended up outside of the ACC championship game, and Duke ended up in it. I mean, that can't happen. That can't happen. When you have a tiebreaker, you got to be able to pick the top teams. You have to. It can't come down to a tiebreaker where a team gets in that's not even going to get to the playoffs. And so, anyway, would it be wrong for any coaches who just accept a job, sign extensions, really show interest in the Michigan job? I'm hoping Kiffin does. That would be awesome. That would be so good if Kiffin coached at LSU for a week and then went to Michigan. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. That would be the most Lane Kiffin thing to do of all time. To leave Ole Miss while they're in the middle of a playoff run, apparently lie about the players wanting him to stay when a lot of the players came out and said, no, we didn't. That was not the sentiment at all. we didn't say those things. Like, nothing surprises me with Lane Kiffin. And like, I'll say what everybody else says. I don't begrudge him a chance, but bro, come on. You work for LSU now. You're the head coach of LSU. You want to keep coaching your rival? I'd be like, yeah, I work at Arizona. I'm going to ASU. Can I come back and coach Arizona for the bowl game? Yeah, get the fuck out of here. No, you can't coach it. Get out of here. Beat it. And that's what Ole Miss is telling him. Beat it. And then Kiffin, well, it's for the kids. It's like, oh, stop. Just stop. That's the problem with Kiffin. He's just so slimy. But he's entertaining. He's funny. You want to watch him. You want to listen to him. And he's a good coach, but he's still slimy as hell. He's still slimy. But how great would that be if Kiffin just bailed on LSU and went to Michigan? Never happened. And LSU's a better job, I think, than Michigan. Better recruiting. Depending on what I was going to say, better weather, depending on what your definition of better weather is. But how great would that be? If you broke open your Twitter app tomorrow, or however you get your news, and it says Michigan courting Lane Kiffin. I pray for so little. One, because I don't believe, but if I did, that's what I would pray. I'd pray for Lane Kiffin to be courted by Michigan and him say, hold on a second. Let me see what Michigan has to offer here. That'd be fantastic. So I don't know who Michigan's going to get. It's kind of late in the game. Jed Fish is a guy that keeps popping up. The head coach at Washington. I guess he was there a few years ago. So he was the coach at Arizona before he was the coach at Washington. But I don't know. I think he's a good coach. Seems kind of uninspiring, but you never know. And the thing, when a coach leaves, you have to fire a coach. Now what happens to all the players? I mean, how many of the players can you retain? Does Bryce Underwood stay? The guy, the highly touted freshman quarterback from last year, who they paid a ton of money to in the portal, does he stay? He reworked the deal. I don't know. Who knows how that goes? But yeah, I guess Sharon Moore, if you didn't read it, had inappropriate relations with a staffer, and police were called. And I don't know if there was like some domestic situation going on with those. I don't know. All I know is he got fired. Like, boom, fired. I was like, wait, what happened? So I don't know if they knew about this relationship, and when it allegedly got physical and it became known by everybody else and he got arrested, that's when they cut ties. If they didn't know, because obviously you can't do that. I mean, you're the head coach. Did Petrino do that at Arkansas like many, many years ago? I remember the motorcycle and the crashed motorcycle. It was a mess. But coach, you can't do that. You're in a power position. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's consensual or not. That ain't all right. You can't do that, period. And so now, I don't know. I don't know where you go so late in the game. Like I said, there's a whole different dynamic with the NIL and the transfer now. And so who knows? There's something else I wanted to get to too, sports related, before I got the hell out of here. We're gonna have some. We'll get to the college football playoffs next week too. By the playoff, I got to get a hold of a couple people about coming on, talking some college football playoffs. We'll be back on Sunday night. Bergie will be back with me, and we'll be talking Niners Titans. Hopefully, we'll be talking other games too, because hopefully that will be a game that we don't have to break down a whole bunch. That'll be one like took care of business, move on, and we're good. And I just want to see it all come down to the last game. That'd be incredible if it came down to the last game against Seattle. How great would that game be? This might be. I don't know if you guys will agree with me or not. This might be like the most fun Niner season since Shanahan's taken over, in terms of not dominance, in terms of not Super Bowl aspirations, but kind of unpredictability, and how they've managed to get to where they are. I mean, if they win this one, they're going to be 10-4. 10 wins in a season where Mac Jones has played more than Purdy. Pearsall has not played more than he has played. Brandon Ayuk hasn't played and has conceivably played his last game for the 49ers. Fred Warner has maybe, if I'm thinking about it, played in a few more games than he hasn't played in, but not many. Bosa's played in fewer games than he's played in. It's just been Michael Williams is probably right around 50-50 in terms of play, not play. Like, it's staggering, the injuries that this team has had to deal with. Oh, let me not forget Kittle, who's probably played in as many games as he hasn't played in. Like, they had a receiving crew of Jennings and Jennings, pretty much. I can't even think of who was playing. Bourne wasn't on the team yet. Robinson was serving a suspension. Pearsall was there for the first few games and then got hurt. It's just been a mess. It's been an absolute mess. And they've managed to cobble it together. Now, the schedule has helped, right? If they had to play last year's schedule, it'd probably be a much different story. So playing the last place schedule certainly helps. But what they've been able to do to give themselves a chance, it's been pretty fun. It's been pretty fun just watching this team figure out ways to win football games this year. I forgot. I got a new kicker. Moody finally gone, got Panero in here, and took away some of the PTSD from 49ers special teams. People can breathe now when they're watching a field goal attempt. It's like, now it's like, we got Eddie Money in here, or Mucho Pinheiro, as Brent calls him. So it's been a fun season. It has been a fun season to watch, and they might feel that way too. Like, going into the playoffs, there's not going to be any expectations. I'm sure there's always internal expectations from athletes, but the external expectations are going to be gone. The external expectations are going to be on the Rams, and they're going to be on the Seahawks, and maybe to a lesser extent the Eagles, because if they make it, they'll be, entering the playoffs as the defending champions. Not the Niners, not this year, not for what they've overcome, not for what they've done. And they could just go in there and take a free swing at it. Just take a swing at it. So it's been a fun year. It's been a really fun year. AFC is just bonkers, right? This is like, what is Brady and Peyton Manning back? You got the Broncos and the Patriots at the top. No Chiefs, no Ravens right now. It's just a weird year. No Burrow. Because I remember we talked about that 4 or 5 years ago, right? It's going to be like, oh, you got to go through Allen. You got to go through Lamar. You got to go through Mahomes. You got to go through Burrow. You got to, well, this year you got to go through one. That's it. Maybe two, possibly three at the outside, possibly three. I can't imagine the Chiefs get there this year. Ravens could. Bengals no, and Bills yes. So it's just a wild year. Just a wild year. So we'll get to some Major League Baseball free agency talk too. As a free Pete Alonso signs with the Orioles. I saw Mike Yastrzemski signed with the Braves. Diaz with the Dodgers. Then you had the trade, Nimmo and Simeon, Rangers and Mets making a trade. There's a few things going on out there, but obviously the big prize is Kyle Tucker, which I just don't want to hear the Giants like. Yeah, the Giants are just kicking tires on Kyle Tucker. I think coming like second or third. Like people are like, oh, I don't know, he'd fit pretty well. I'm like Kyle Tucker is going to fit anywhere pretty well. Kyle Tucker's going to fit anybody's outfield really, really well. The money now is getting silly, right? They're tossing upwards of $400 million for Kyle Tucker. Although, would you rather have Kyle Tucker for 400 or Soto for like 700? It's a lot of money. Soto's just a machine, though. Every year, you can just like count on like his numbers every year. His WAR numbers, his average, his RBIs, his on-base percentage, his slug. Like he's just, to get that kind of certainty, I guess is worth it. And so you got the pitcher coming over from Japan. I don't know if it doesn't sound like the Giants are interested in a big ticket item, but why not? Why not? I mean, if you're going to compete with the Dodgers, if you're going to compete for that division, I know they've spent money. Look, they got a lot of money wrapped up in Devers. They got a lot of money wrapped up in Adames. They got a lot of money wrapped up in Chapman. You know, they got some money wrapped up in Webb. And I think this is Ray's last year at like 25. And if I were them, I'd be looking into if he's interested, if Ray's interested in an extension. Like, because they went from like, hey, look at all the pitching we got to, oh shit, we need some pitching. Like quite a bit of pitching. What happened to our pitching? Is our pitching still good? Not that. No, it isn't, is it? So it's just kind of okay. Yeah. Yeah, we need some pitching. Thing is, they got hitting now, but it's not like a dominant hitting team. It's a solid hitting team. Like you don't mind having that middle of the order, right? You don't mind having I still would prefer Lee at the leadoff spot, but you don't mind having him and Adames and Devers and Chapman, like that be the heart of your order. That's not bad. That's not a bad heart of the order. It's not, it's not the Yankees, not the Dodgers, not the Braves. Although the Braves faltered a little bit last year, but yeah, you can win with that. Who knows if Eldridge, what he's going to be this year? I keep reading that they might look into dangling him, presumably to get a pitcher, I would think. So you always hate when you wait for guys, don't you? And they're like getting ready to come to the big leagues and like see what they can do for a full year. And they're like, we're going to trade him. But it also makes me think, well, if they know, maybe they know something. Maybe they should. So anyway, but we'll keep up to date with what's going on with the hot stove league. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. We got all the let's see. I'm trying to see if anything else going on here in the hot stove league. I hate doing this. Gonna run an Angels trade. Who? No. What happened? What we do? Oh no. I guess that's about it for now. you get some smaller things too, but Braves signed Suarez. They needed help at the back end of the bullpen, so Dodgers get Diaz. What they get him for? 369, and the Braves went 3 for 45 for Suarez, and so I'm guessing that means Street will be the closer for the Padres this year, which isn't a bad fallback. If Houston's like, here we go. Or not Houston's. Why did I go Houston? I went Houston Street for the old days. I went back like 15 years, Miller. As soon as I said that, I go, wait a minute. I'm not pitching anymore. It's been like years since that guy pitched. Let's go, Tolbert. I mean, I know I'm not following baseball right now. It's football. Jesus. Houston Street? Good God. Let's go. I sorry. What can I do? I went A's. I went A's and I went back to Houston Street. Oh well, what are you gonna do? So all right, let's take some comments and then I will get on out of here and send you guys on your way. And we'll be back Sunday night. What did I make of Joe Burrow's recent comments? I don't know. I just think for those that don't know, Joe Burrow like he went to the podium and said, I just want paraphrasing, just want football to be fun. It's frustrating. If you're not having fun, then why bother? It made it sound like he's getting ready to quit if he's not going to have any fun. I just think it's a guy that's beat down. Rehab sucks. And I can't imagine doing it as much as he's done it. It's just you get paid to play football. You want to have fun playing football. That's what always drives me nuts when commentators, whether they're doing talk shows, TV talk shows, whatever, and somebody comes back from injury and they want to play, and the announcer or the sports talk show host or whoever will go, why are you playing him? What's the upside here? When I just let him rest and let him get healthy, it's like, well, they're playing because, one, people pay good money to come watch. People have lost sight of the fact that people actually pay to watch these guys play. Like, you pay money to go watch the best players play. So when they're available to play, it'd be nice if they did play. And what often gets overlooked, these guys love playing whatever sport they're playing. Right? They want to play. They don't want to just sit and watch. Like, they're not concerned with big picture. They're like, let me go play. I know some will go, oh, look what happened to Daniels. Now, Daniels come back. He played, hurt his elbow, and now, look, it happens. It's sports. We're going to keep protecting guys. That's why you get to see guys like 15 times a year now, or guys only pitch 5 innings, or guys sit out every 10th game in the NBA, or guys don't play 82 games. They play 72 games or 67 games because the team is concerned with the big picture and the athletes have bought into the big picture and we want to rest. What about just playing? So when a guy wants to just play, I'm like, let the guy play. People paid good money to watch him play. He wants to play. Let him play. I think Joe is frustrated that he hasn't played. He's spent as much time in the rehab room as he has out on the field. And he's probably frustrated with the losing and the organization and not being able to put a team around him that can help him win. I mean, they have signed Chase. They have signed Higgins. Signed Burrow, obviously. So you got, your weapons there for you. The defense needs some retooling, no doubt about it. But there is a salary cap on football, so you only have so much you can spend. Is it wise to spend that much on 2 receivers? I would say no. I would say, especially when you have other things you need to address. But that's what I thought of his comments. I thought of a guy that sounded really frustrated, that needs an off season, that needs to rekindle his kind of love for the sport and be healthy and get out there and play and win and be with his teammates. But he just sounded like a guy that was kind of beaten down by the injuries, beaten down a little bit by the organization, just come off a tough loss to Buffalo. That was a tough one. So I didn't read that much into it, but we'll see if he has any more comments like that. Anything else? Do we have anything else out there? look, whatever you guys want to ask, I'm good. It's just me and Lou. I got nothing to do. Nobody's in the house with me. Nobody's here, are they? It's just me and you. And Lou says, you know what? I'd love to hear your thoughts on, what would you like to hear my thoughts on? Squeaky chewy toys? No, stop. That's enough. It's not even 2 yet. She's getting really needy now. Like she just like, even like it's 1:30 and she's like, are you going to feed me? What are we doing? All right. Should we just go? And we'll just kind of go do our thing. So, you know, say goodbye to everybody. No. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. That's enough. All right. So Sunday night we'll be back. Me and Bergie. We'll get the fire going. Get the fire pit going out in the backyard. Get all ready to go. Christmassy, nice Christmas weather. 51. I'm so soft. I'm so soft when it comes to being outside. And so, all right. So we'll see you Sunday. Everybody have a great weekend. Until then, see you.
And remember this, Tommy T. Cash and tickets is what it's all about.